Hello and welcome to Flooring Models Kit View Time. Today we've got Airfix's latest release. We've got the 1/24 scale Supermarine Spitfire Mk.VIII this time. So before we saw the Mk.IX, which was absolutely fantastic, and we got a full review that you can go off and you can see right here somewhere. All right, so you can go off and see that one. If not, it's down in the show notes below. It's a beautiful kit. It really is nice, and we've done an in-depth look at it right the way through. This particular one is basically the same kit, but it has got some upgrades to it, which obviously we saw when we actually went through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of break this into a sort of follow-on review, if you like, to actually when we did the last review with the actual Mk.IX, because 99% of it is exactly the same. The only differences we've got, and luckily Airfix has done a little thing for us, is we've got it down in here. So the Mk.IX-C and the Mk.VIII, as you can see down below here, we've basically got all the common parts which are in grey. All right, so only the bits in pink are where we got the newer things. The biggest difference obviously was the wings with the fuel tanks and things like that in. So say the wings are slightly different now on this particular one. So you've got new lower surfaces, and obviously we've got the top part of the wings, but also obviously major fuselage sections and things like that are the same. There's a little bit of difference down the back here as well, because obviously this one's got a retractable tail wheel. Obviously the actual Mk.IX didn't. I know it gets confusing when obviously the later ones are earlier than the early ones, so forth and so on. All right. Other differences as well is down on the actual instrument panel. So this one down in here, as you can see, you've got differences with the master switch area. Obviously it's a lot different from down in here. We've got some dials and various bits in here. Oil pressure warning lamp down in here, things like that as well. And all temperature gauges are slightly different on this particular one compared to the old one. All right, so again, slight differences between the two. The main one is obviously on the wing sections, as you can see down in here. So again, lots of different things in here. This one's also got the position light as well underneath it. Obviously you didn't have it in the other one. And again, it said down in here, revised instrument panel down in the cockpit. So really that's the differences. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a quick skim through and have a look at them actually on the kit itself. So box art, very, very nice. I must admit, very Edard-esque, shall we say, because it just looks like a little bit like that kit. Very, very nice indeed. We just bring the camera in just a touch. There we go. But again, I like it. It's got a shark's mouth. What's not to like about it as well? So quick run round on the box. We got some details. So obviously engine is the same. Small difference from down in here, and obviously with the wing sections. Kit number for this one is A17002. All right, and we got some of the different marking options, as you can see down in here as well, which actually come with this particular kit. So down in here we've got Squadron Leader Bruce Watson, which is number 457, Grey Nurse. Again, Royal Australian Air Force, and again from 1945. We've got number 152, which is from Burma, which is quite nice with the white nose down in there like that. And then we've got another one over here, US Air Force one from the 307th Fighter Squadron, 31st Fighter Group, down in Italy, 1944 as well with that. All right. As always with these kits, they are sealed. I haven't even been in here yet. And for full discrepancy in opening this was sent to me by Airfix themselves. So no, I didn't have to buy it myself like the last time and wait 6 months to get hold of one. So somebody was listening. I can't get out of the box. So I'm imagining it's exactly the same in here. If I could ever get in the box. There we go. It is. All right. So one of the big differences, obviously, is the differences with the wings. So we've got the various parts down in there. We'll have a look at that in a moment. And it's the same packaging as we saw before as well, where we've got it. And again, this will be another major difference as well. So we'll be looking at those properly. The rest of the kit is exactly the same as we found with the other one as well. So it's the same sort of fuselage down in there as we've seen before. And again, we've got obviously the engine cowling top as well, which is quite nice. We have got a difference in the instrument panel, which we'll look at, but also we've got the ones down in here. So I'm imagining this bag is the separate one to the other one, because this one's got the parts for the tail wheel. It's got the new one, so we'll look at that. That's going to be standard to exactly what we saw with the last one. So we won't go through down in there. You can watch that on the other review, as is that one. It's just a standard bag from last time. And then obviously we've got the other one down in here. Looks exactly the same. And this one is exactly the same as the last one as well. All right. So the other big bits down in here we do have still the nice embossed logo of Airfix on the back, which is quite nice. All right, so starting off with in the chunk of a booklet, as you can see down in here, and all the other stuff. I can make this stuff need more room here. All right, so as I say, I'm not going to go right the way through this again because technically we've been through on here before. Instrument panel, as we said, is completely different. So you're going to have to do a little bit of work down in there as well, just to change all of those ones over. And again, it's talking about down in here. So obviously these are the different bits for the actual cockpit. The main bits down in here for the seats and everything else are all exactly the same. As far as I can see, it looks very, very similar. Right, okay, so up in here, it looks like we've got a guide for chopping out the various sections. So again, I think we saw this one before, so actually doing the little guide down in here for removing the sort of little bit of lip for the canopy on here. This is the important one though, because this is going to make the hole underneath. So it's saying about this is a temporary fit, so it's in purple. All right, so basically it means don't glue it in position because it is literally a temporary fit. So I'm looking for said temporary areas. All right, so that's going to tie into this one. I know this one's a little bit of a mishmash, this review, but it saves doing the entire thing again. So down in here we have a bag, and it's a completely different bag to the rest of them. So this is this part here. All right, so this is talking about, so if we just make a break from there, this is sprue P, which has got the new parts. So obviously it's got the new tail wheel section with obviously going to be retractable tail wheel down in here like here. You've got new ailerons on it as well. To be honest, they're all beautifully molded. Very, very nice indeed. All right, we've actually got the tail wheel doors being opened, or obviously you can have them closed. We've got the new instrument panel. All right, so we have got that as a glass one as well, but I don't know if the glass one will be the new modern one, if that makes any sense. It's probably not. We'll look in a second. All right, the big thing is this. So this is the where you've got the reconnaissance light underneath it. And this is the tools, because we've got the original fuselage that we saw for it before, which looks really, really nice. To be honest, it's a really highly detailed, nice little bit of stress skin just down in there. All right, but it doesn't have the hole on the bottom. So these parts here are temporary ones so that are going to fit perfectly in here. All right, so these will come along, and I do believe they'll probably straddle the actual end here, and then you're going to cut a hole, which is also really handy because it's where the sprue tab is as well. So that will go in and it will remove that and cut it out. All right, that means you're going to cut it to exactly the right dimensions on here. So you'll just put it down there temporary and cut it exactly like that. So you can mark it with a pen as a template, or leave it there and cut it to this exact size. That means then that the actual part will go in. So you'll glue this to one of the halves so that you've made the nice hole in the fuselage half down in here, and then that will be fine. And then that way you've got the part that fits in. So that's very nice indeed, and that's how that's actually going to work. So that's a good job. So that's obviously one of the biggest differences, just making sure that you've got this all done and it's in place. All right, and then again it talks about putting the new tail wheel system down in there as well, because obviously it's got the doors that all open up. All right, so there we go, that makes sense. All right, and then moving on, pretty much everything else I imagine. There we go, there's the differences. So down here in red, that's how it will sit down in there as well for that reconnaissance light. And obviously now, because we've got a retractable tail wheel, we've got a little bit more detail down in there. We've got a new part that's going to come up the end and go in there just like that. So that's fair enough. The rest of it looks very, very nice exactly. So again, back end is exactly the same. Wing sections we do believe are going to be different. So again, you can see the little differences down in here. So this little one down in here, I think is that for the gun camera. You're just going to be chopping off those bits. So it's got some subtle differences just down in here. All right, where it's actually going together. The wing sections, the various bits as well, all looking really, really good. The actual ammunition, the wing formers all going in. As we know, you can build it up to be like a skeleton, which is very nice. Beautiful detail right the way through. That all looks very nice indeed. All right, and then obviously we've got the guns being fitted down in there. Those are all going in. Looks very, very nice. Again, very, very cool. So we've got the lighter machine guns on the outside, and then obviously the heavy cannons on the insides. And then again, we've got the top part. So depending if you want to have the wings open or closed, and again, we can look at those now. We've actually got these wings, which actually, they're really, really nice. You can probably see the level of detail down on these. Catch it in the light. You can see it's really very, very nice. I like it. I think it's great, great detail. And then again, on the tops, because obviously we've got different provisions down in here. And again, catch it in the light. There we go. You can see all of that beautiful detail coming through. Very, very nice indeed. So obviously I think it's a new wing spar down in here as opposed to the rest of them. So again, I'm just wondering, I don't know, perhaps it is the same. I don't know, just the feel of the plastic feels slightly different to the rest of the kit, if I remember rightly, but that could be me. Unfortunately, we have got a few little ejector pins down in here in between, but again, they're a nice distance. You can get in there. Obviously, a skinny stick fits perfectly in all of these. It's like it's made to measure, isn't it? All right, so that's pretty good. And again, really nice details in here. I like it. I like it a lot. Anyway, so we've got one of these all down in there. And again, we've got the lights underneath the wings, which is obviously a little bit of difference down in this kit as well. So we've got those ones. Radiators obviously being fitted down onto the bottom. Wingtips being fitted down onto there, just like that. And then just like the other kit, working your way forward through the engine. That all lovely engine detail all the way through on this one. But again, very nice because we've obviously got the radiators down in here as well. So again, just looks really, really cool. All right, so engine with the Merlin, beautiful piece of work all the way through. Then you got all your piping and your wiring and everything else to go on board. And then again, right the way in there, just like that. Very, very nice. So again, flaps being fitted down into them. Very nice into there, just like that. Cannons being fitted onto the front. Gear, obviously nice thing, up or down. So you can have it in flight or you can have it obviously geared down. Wheels being fitted. Clear parts, canopies, things like that, obviously being fitted on there. And then last up, we've got the prop and the spinner. All right, so looks fantastic. Okay, so your details, as I said before, got them down in here. All right, so there we go. That's the nice Australian one. Do like that with the shark's mouth and all the rest of it. So Grey Nurse looking very, very nice there. Or your other options down in here, if you want one for sort of the Burma with the sort of green and the brown. Very, very nice with the white markings as well. So you've got that one. And then last up we have over here, we've actually got the American one in Italy. So again, nice colourful tail. And again, nice with the colourful wingtips as well, giving you the right dimensions for those as well, 15mm. And you're good to go. Last up, you've got your stencil data and your walkways, not tons of them. So that's very, very nice indeed. So, nice big, colourful sheet to say the least. Looks absolutely gorgeous. And again, beautifully done. So across the top here, we've got all the dials and the various bits for the instrument panel. As you can see right the way through, we've got the trestle walkways and the usual things. Again, that shark's mouth looks very, very nice. Good colour, good solid thing. Not a ton of, in fact, very little in the way of, just trying to catch it in the light. Is it display ball? There you go. You can see the light reflecting off of it. So real no carrier film, any more than's actually necessary right the way through. And we've got those colourful ones behind. So very, very nice with that. Again, it's one of those ones where, you know, yes, it's a simple step. There's a new sprue, new wings technically, and all the rest of it, a little bit inside the cockpit. The kit itself's very, very good. And I know people who now have built it, absolutely love it. And again, it's one of those ones I'm really going to have to do. And to be honest, after seeing Grey Nurse there, I'm thinking, might have to do that one, because that does look very good indeed. I think it's a worthy little upgrade. It's not very well known, obviously, the Mk.VIII. Everyone talks usually about the sort of, well, the Mk.I, Mk.V, and the Mk.IX. So again, Mk.VIII, not as well known perhaps as some of the other ones, but again, for foreign use as well, especially things like that. And obviously, if you're a Spitfire fan, you'll know all about it and love it. But most of us just know the 1, the 5, and the 9, and away we go. And we sort of get going through that. But it is very, very nice indeed. I don't know how easy it is to pick up the old one at the moment, the Mk.IX. But if you are after a 24 scale Spitfire, this one is an absolute must for you. And again, with that engine detail, cockpit detail, and everything on this kit, It's just a beautiful kit.